Just waiting. Just here a little early before actually get started. Already said it. Already did that. Already did that part.
What's good?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Another good day. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you was kind of lagging for a bit, but I can hear you.
All right, cool. I know sometimes it's got to catch up a little bit because of the Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting on well, probably. Who I invited some more people. It's supposed to be here.
Yeah. Well, I always started up 5 minutes early to kind of pull everything together, and get us an opportunity just to have all our pieces, little
Yeah.
pre-prep show because people were like, oh well, he'll be here, and then they'll show up like 5 or 10 minutes late because that's the way it rolls.
That's the way it be sometimes. But I'm just sharing it to certain people. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just sharing it.
absolutely.
Yeah, maybe hold on as I go in.
But I got all our topics. I figure when we're done, we'll roll through and talk about some just general geek news. I know you were talking about those two things. I saw that thing you shared the other day, and it was pretty cool. Haven't had a chance to read it in the fully with the 50 cent. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was cool. So I read it this morning, and we'll probably like say that for the end. So we'll probably say
Yeah,
that for the
yeah,
end or
yeah.
like or something like that. Cause I read, I was like, oh, that's his power or that's his ability or whatever. I'll wait on that later. What's up, Zero Ranger 7? What's going on?
What's up, Cornish Ranger? Come to
I'll wait.
join us on the Tiki Talk.
Oh yeah, by the way, once this live is done, I'm gonna like probably edit it a little bit and it's gonna go up on
Yeah,
YouTube. Is that okay?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, make it happen.
Okay,
Absolutely, got
cool.
to push it. Drop the podcast or drop the link too, because like I definitely try to push the Zero to Hero. Because that's like one of the podcasts that I'm loosely like I know them anyways. I wouldn't even say loosely affiliated. I would just say I know them.
Yeah, I tried to yeah, I've only been doing like well, I've been trying to do YouTube or push out content for a long time and like things just like don't go your way. And now I'm at a place, well, I think the pandemic really done it was like, since I'm at home, might as well, do it, start it or whatever. Like I'm up to like what that, almost 60 videos and then
Okay.
about a year. Yeah, so everything's cool. The problem is with me, I just have other responsibilities, and I can't like push out
Yeah.
videos as I like because I I just recently did a video, especially if I have like issues with editing and whatnot. Because the video I posted out a couple of days ago was my comment review of Spider-Man Spider Shadow. I had
Okay.
audio trouble. Yeah, I had audio trouble, so I had to re-record certain parts, cut out some unnecessary audio, so that way, I don't have to go re-record it again because I would have been mad if I had to come back, set everything up, and then record again. Because it was a good thing I had to
Yeah.
save some time. But uh, but yeah, Spider Shadow is a great story. It was a fun read. Like I don't know if you read it yet. Have you read it yet? Spider Shadow.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's a. I know you probably, you know, don't have a lot of time, but like you can go online. You can go online and actually read these comics for free.
I do the comic box. It's like a Amazon affiliated app. And it
Uh-huh.
gives me, that's how I was able to get like keep up with all like the current Power Ranger comics, because it would release and
Yeah.
drop like a week later. I'd be able to lock it down. And it's like, because like of my Prime membership, I only pay like a couple of bucks a month for it, so it just comes to me on an app format. What's up, Austin? You can come on, man. If you can join, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, that's when I had started to actually like comics. I mean, read comics was when the Boom comics came out, the Power Rangers, and then they done open up a rabbit hole for more comics to read, and I've been reading ever since. Like I've been, I'll be up at night when the house is calmed down, and I'll be able to get some reading done, and and also like I remember the main story that have been reading for some time now was the Injustice comics. I read the first year 1 through 5 at least like 3 times already. Like I'm reading it again to to write do a video on it, because I'm trying to compare it to the movie that came out like recently. You seen the movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it was okay.
I mean,
They mi-
I thought it was pretty bad because they took away certain I don't know. I don't know. Spoiler alert if nobody's seen the movie yet. If you happen to catch this live or catch this re-upload or whatever, yeah, exactly. Barry, like they killed off the Flash within the first few minutes of the movie. Like, what purpose? What purpose was that for them to kill the Flash off? Like, was it because he was gonna basically one shot Superman if you know, if he became full on tyrant and whatnot? But
I don't.
I
I mean, I remember like, and I know it kind of dates and it's not as relevant, but like there was a really good opportunity because it was not a super well known comic book. It's like the video game kind of boosted everything to it, right? And I
yeah
understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it kind of more across the board, and a lot of those concepts I felt didn't transpose like you would like when they did the adaptation for the Red Hood movie. I don't know if you ever seen that one, but that was really super good.
yeah
And I was
yeah, I seen that one. I seen that one. I'm gonna have to get, especially with the Death in the Family movie. I'll probably have to actually get the DVD for because it's interactive.
yeah.
Yeah, the interactive one. See like, oh, the choices. I avoided spoilers so far, but I might have to buy the actual DVD or Blu-ray itself to actually interact with the movie. But
To get
yeah,
that full experience.
yeah. But let's see. Zero Ranger 7 said like nobody even care. You're right. Only Batman mentioned it, and the Lantern. I don't think the Green Lanterns were seen anymore. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, they've been messing around with Arrow, the Arrowverse for so long with John Diggle
Mm-hmm.
trying to make him the Green Lantern, and they set all this up, and now the latest news I saw that dropped about it is that they're gonna have kind of like a angsty teen superhero high school show where he's gonna be like the mentor, and I'm like, so
Yeah, I
you've
seen
been
that.
setting this up? Okay, or you saw that too?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, so y'all not gonna do it. Like they probably was. You know what my theory on that is? They probably was bouncing back the rights of Green Lantern back and forth. They were like, they couldn't come with a deal, and they were like, nah, no Green Lantern and no TV show, because they already developing one for HBO Max. So I
Right.
don't know when that's coming out, but That's been in the pipeline for a very long time. But the Blanchards, yeah, they did. They played a key role. Like I'm really drawing a blank here. Like if Green Lanterns were in the movie, like I know he was in there at the beginning where Superman swiped his ring, but after that's it. Like I don't think I've seen any more of Green Lantern and the Injustice movie. Like I don't know. Like
No, I mean, I'm thinking hard.
I might have to watch
I
it
mean, but
again. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Go.
I might have to watch it again, like once like we conclude this live, because it's still leaving my mind. Because this movie was like what very like maybe like an hour and 30 minutes, and they was like everything was just like they cut everything, the most important stuff out too. Like that's the part about Atlantis that arc that part of when they fought Aquaman and his crew in Atlantis and whatnot, and like they completely skipped that in the movie. All it was a conversation in the watchtower. That was it. Like I understand it was loosely based, but still though, like even at the end when they brought another Superman over from another universe, like that was like downplayed, for like maybe the last few minutes of the movie. Yeah, Arthur did dip. He did. Yeah, he actually did dip. Yeah, like that. I felt like that movie was like bad. They just wanted to just push it out. They just wanted to push it out.
Yeah,
Just
no.
we're doing an Injustice movie. Oh yeah, and as soon as it came out, that was it. Nothing. That was it. Like as soon as it came out, I was like, oh no. And then and it was like it's kind of like that review I did of it's this anime called Apocalypse Zero. I don't know if you've seen it. Like it took me a
No,
long
I haven't
time.
seen that yet.
It took me a long time to push out that video because it was so bad. I had to keep stopping. Even if it was like maybe an hour and 30 minutes long, I had to keep stopping because I was like certain parts of it. I was like, what? And and I'd be like, had to turn my brain off. I had to turn my brain off and push through.
So,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know how much Ultraman you watch, right? But like Netflix released like this Ultraman, like very good anime. Like it was, some of the parts. That's exactly how I felt, man. Like when the actions, the overall arcing story was good, right? Like I'm not gonna give any spoilers in case anybody's not seen it,
I seen
but
the
like
first three
really
episodes.
good.
I seen the first
And
three.
but it's slow, right? It's
Yeah.
super. It's like Dragon Ball Z slow.
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same it's the same with Demon Slayer, and for me, it's the same with Demon Slayer and Fire Force. Like it starts off like really slow, but I'll be like, something. Turn on something else. But I'm not saying that it's bad, but I don't like real slow start. I guess that's what's going on. Like I don't like real slow starts. And then speaking of Ultraman, I seen Ultraman Tiga back
Okay.
like when it was on Fox Box back in the day. I don't know if they
Yeah.
showed the final episode, but I know they only showed like a couple, maybe to episode 20, maybe 20 or 30, and then after that, like it was gone. After that, and they threw One Piece and all that other stuff on there, and that was it. That
They
was
tr-
it.
it's so hard because a lot of it's older content and some of it's just not readily available any as it once was, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's all drive by viewership, right? Same thing like right now when they're talking about. I was reading the article. They were talking about the new season that's coming out on March 3rd for or Dino Fury.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to release the first half of the season and
Yeah.
see how it does, right? And I know that's Netflix's deal. They like to drop either the whole season or the first half of the season and then circle back to it. And, like everybody was like, and I'll parallel this too, because that's my major pushback with like Disney Plus and HBO Max. Like everybody was like, "Oh, you've got to watch Peacemaker. You've got to watch Peacemaker." And it's like, listen, my time's super finite. I work like 45, 50, sometimes 55 hours a week. I got 2 girls doing things. I don't have time to lock in every week. And like, so at this point now with those, I just binge it, like I would with Netflix. And I prefer that style because then I can just get up. I can watch when I'm ready, and when I'm ready to turn it off and walk away, and I'm not like, oh man, I need to have it, I want to see the next episode, because I was trying to follow along with the Book of Boba Fett, and I was like always like a week late to the party. So it's like at this point I'll just avoid all the spoilers, and I'll just wait until it all comes to the fruition, and that's hard because you've got like great content creators out there like Straw Hat Goofy and
Uh-huh.
the one Let's Go guy. I can never remember his name, but he's good too. And they
Oops.
always drop that. Oh yeah, Soups. That's it. There we go. I couldn't remember his name. So thank you so much. But it's like you have to block yourself off from it. And I like the fact that the majority of them are now, we're seeing it more and more nowadays, where people are like, hey, just hit a like and come back later if you haven't seen this episode. Because it's like, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes people just drop those
But
bombs and then you're like, oh, well, I was going to watch that, but now,
but
now
some people don't care for spoilers. I do put like a lot of disclaimers in my videos I uploaded to YouTube. So I was like, either come back later, you've been warned. If you don't care for spoilers, enjoy the video. Funny thing, like once I put out that Apocalypse Zero video, I had an idea that I don't know like why I haven't done this. I don't know why I haven't done this yet. That's when my followers jumped up. It was like I split my YouTube videos into multiple parts on my on my TikTok channel, and I've been getting like more likes, more views, and a lot of followers for that. Like this morning, I posted the spider shadow on my TikTok. My phone had died this morning. I woke up and I get the usual 5, 6, 7 likes. Yeah, but today
mm.
I woke up with like maybe 5, 6, 7 likes, and then I looked over and I had got like 36 new followers. I was like, oh dang! But I'm trying to.
It's always a balance.
Yeah.
I get, like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was like like I was like dang. So and then I had to get up and because I had to straighten up my room and what my room that I like like record and edit and to set up my little space this morning, because like it was just mainly I just bought the stuff and brought my stuff from the garage because my dog started to chew up some stuff. Like luckily he only got like maybe 2 lightning collection figures, and I was like, oh, but it was still kind of bad because the black one I had, the Black Ranger without the shield, without the dragon shield, that was hard to come by. Like I actually had to go on eBay and buy it for like, don't judge me, but I had to buy it for like at least like $50.
Oh, no judgment at all. No judgment at all, dude. I just dropped on the line of Black Rangers. I just dropped for the 2-pack, the Leonardo and Donatello from the Boom's comic release. Completely worth the money, man. The articulation was great. One of the smallest pieces that I loved about it, and it's so small, right? Like, so they gave you 2 power axes. They gave you kind of like a short one, and they gave you like a long extended one with the axe at the end. But the short one, you could literally like he does in the show, like when he's about to throw it up, and you can see that there's a spot where that like the power sword can lock in, like Raph's sword could lock in, and Donatello and all that. It was really neat, dude. Like, so I understand because I've spent some money on some figures, so I think it goes across the board. I never really worry about spoilers too. The Cornish Red Ranger was like, I don't worry about spoilers. You can't avoid them anymore. I agree.
Yeah, I think I spent like, well, never mind, because that was the actual price when I bought the Cycle Ranger set from Amazon. You know,
So
it was still
pricey.
$99. Yeah, but I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, $99. Like, you know, it's not the. I thought they was gonna put it up to like 150 or 200. Well, so I would have better. It would have better off if I was just guided before they shot at the price, because I know they were like flying off the shelves when they first announced it. I don't even think I opened.
Yep.
I don't think I opened it yet. It's still in the box.
Oh,
That's
do you still have it in the box?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
still. It's still.
I don't.
I
And
haven't
you
opened
know,
it yet.
what completely kills me about the Psycho Ranger set is when they did the first wave, right? They released red, black, and blue, right? And then they didn't do pink and yellow, at all. And I was kind of like, all right, whatever, they'll get around to it. Well, then hands changed, and then they did green, and then they did a re-release of like red. It was red, green, blue. Well, not a real release of green, but black and blue and red. And I was like, oh man, but where are the pink and the And I understand it's all just a body thing. Like it's all the same figure. It's just different paint tones. But what's up, buddy? And and then I saw they released it, and I'm like, okay, but I have two blue Psycho Rangers. It's like I have one from the first wave and one from the second, and I'm like, why am I going to buy another set of waves? So I'm like, maybe somebody will just eventually, you go to these cons and you see the last con in Orlando I went to. It was a small con. I actually got to meet the I got to meet the Gold Ranger from Beast Morphers and the Red Ranger from Ninja Steel and the Blue Ranger from Beast Morphers. They were in like a very small event, right? It was just like the three of them. It was
Mm-hmm.
very cool to do, but what fascinated me, and I don't know if you've seen her on TikTok or not, but basically she's got tubs of collectibles, right? And that's what it reminded me of, where you could just grab a bag for like $5 or $6. It's a grab bag. You never know what you're really gonna get. What's up, my dear? I apologize. She's like, I'm a girl. I apologize. I went by the little face. It looked like a dude. Oh no, it's a dinosaur. I don't. No, it's not a dinosaur. It's something with glasses. I don't know.
So
It's a picture.
it's a
I'm
duck
sorry.
with glasses.
It's a duck with glasses. Okay, it does
Yeah,
not
it
look
looks
like
like
a
a
duck
duck with
from here.
glasses. But
Okay.
yeah,
So I apologize.
I met my handful of Rangers too. Who I met? I met Karen Ashley. That played Aisha from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I met Jason David Frank, of course. Who else? I met David Yost, Walter Jones. Who else? I believe that.
We're
Yeah,
talking
that
a
was
little bit
it.
of everything Power Ranger related. Sorry,
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
was
I didn't
it.
mean
But
to cut you off.
I met people outside of Power Rangers too. I met Tom Welling from Smallville back at 20. I think it was like 2017, 2018. Yeah, I met him. I got to meet him, even if I ain't, even if I ain't got nothing for him to sign or whatever. I gotta meet him. I gotta tell hey, you inspired me and my brother to be better people, and because even though Clark does some of the stuff that he does, like gets into a lot of situations, he still tries to do the right thing, no matter who did him wrong or whatever. Even Lex, I know you've seen Smallville, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I followed Smallville all the way to the end of the line, man.
Yeah,
And now they're
it was
talking about bringing back that comic.
yeah, as an animated series.
Yeah.
Even though I was kind of
Michael.
Rosenbaum.
What's his name? Rosenbaum. He was just on because he had Dean. I was listening to his podcast. He had Dean on, and he was talking about how they're really working with all of them, and they're super close. So I think that's cool. I mean, if we could see something like that, I'd be down to watch it. You know, it was kind of like the last season of Buffy. I don't know if you ever watched like I don't know if you ever watched Buffy or not, but
I seen the final
the last
episode. I seen
the
the
final
final
episode.
Yeah, yeah, I seen the final episode of Buffy. I was like, well, let me see how all this ends. So I was like, okay, that's pretty neat. To where it's like, spoiler alert, you have to put that disclaimer up every time. I think like
Yeah,
correct me if
spoiler.
I'm wrong. Yeah, I think correct me if I'm wrong. Like they what they do? I guess like they like it's like the whatever energy that it was, like the Slayer energy or essence or whatever, went into a whole
Yeah.
bunch of women, and that what brought it over to the comics.
Yeah, because basically what happened is that, and again, spoiler alert for all those who haven't seen a show that fell off the air in like 2008. So anyhow, um, they're it's a whole like the whole lore was that for in every generation there's one who could battle against the demons, the vampires, and da 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 da. So they did this by fusing her with basically a part of a soul of a demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like because Willow was the big or now the good witch, basically she turned to Gwenda on us with superpowers, and was able to release that kind of that connection and bring it from like chaotic bad to like chaotic good, right? And because of that, it unlocked because every time a Slayer died, another Slayer would come up. So there were they basically look at it like genetic markers, right? These women all
Mm-hmm.
had genetic markers, and she figured out how to unlock all their genetic markers at once, which means that anyone who ever could be a Slayer would be a Slayer going forward. And it was a very nice, like, I feel like chef's kiss to give off, because it was, she was always the one, because like, again, a little bit of spoiler, but like my favorite character in that was Eliza Dushku. She played Faith. So Buffy
Yeah.
dies twice. Brittany or Sarah Michelle Gellar dies twice in that total arc of 7 seasons, and each time another Slayer comes to take her place. So we got to see both ends of the spectrum. We got to see, what would happen if all of the ones who were potentials get released, and then, but it was obviously that was the big, finale. That was like, now we've got thousands of Slayers.
Mm.
So like evil run. But I like the fact that they pivoted after that, because Josh, and I know Josh Whedon's getting a lot of hate right now, and I'm trying not to I try not to dive into it, because people are people, and people get taken out of context all the time, and then you get like, and I kind of always refer it. I learned my lesson with James Gunn, right? Like I know I'm kind of
Yeah.
on a crazy train right now, but I always learned my lesson with James Gunn, because Marvel was like, "We'll never work with you again," and then they saw that he went over to DC, and they were like, we've had some pushback, and after careful consideration, we would like to ask you to come back." I died. I mean, you basically brought a multi-million-dollar company to their knees. You were like, so yeah. And he did it by just being chill. He didn't inflame it one way or the other. He
I
just,
thought it was
okay.
I thought it was, when they brought him back to direct Guardians of the Galaxy, because speaking of Guardians, I thought when they fired James Gunn, the only other person that I know that could have carried Guardians of the Galaxy was Taika Waititi, because he's been on that spectrum, or been on that side of Marvel, or the MCU since Thor Ragnarok, and now he's back
Yeah.
for Love and Thunder. And I thought that since James Gunn was going to be gone, I thought he was going to take over. But I guess I don't know what happened. I guess like when was it before or after they saw that they saw like the preview for the Suicide Squad was when they asked for him back. I don't know. I don't know when was that. Like, did they ask him before, or was it after when they showed the preview?
No, it was definitely, it wasn't, it was before the movie dropped. I know that, because when I remember they fired him, and then he was kind of in limbo land, and DC swooped up on him in like less than 90 days. And then,
Yeah.
so it had to have been after the trailer. It had to have been because they already, I don't know if you saw that tidbit with the Peacemaker, but they're saying that they filmed the ending scene. No spoilers for anyone, but they
Yeah,
filmed
yeah.
that ending scene for Peacemaker on the Marvel lot, and I was like, "What? Shut up, you guys!"
Well,
James
now
Gunn
they
can
would.
just do whatever he wants at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of like maybe like a 10 to 20, maybe a 5 to 10 year apology. Just let him just do whatever he wants, whatever movie, whatever movie he decides to do. Because like that's what because I'm surprised because I thought Peacemaker was going to be a one-off thing, but now they say, oh my God, this is so good, like it's blowing up on all platforms. Let's renew it. Let's go ahead and renew it. We need to like look at the best Peacemaker stories to adapt or loosely adapt, whatever. We got to bring this back. Like, but but sometimes when it was coming out, I forgot when it came on. Like after the first 3 episodes that premiered the same week, I forgot when it came on. I was like, wait a minute. I'd be sitting on my couch. I'd be like, wait a minute. Peacemaker came on this week. We turn it on. But like there was no real spoilers being posted on for Peacemaker up until the finale when the Justice League showed up, and I was surprised. I was like, the Justice League, and they got, and I guess like they don't want Henry Cavill no more, and they didn't want to pay Gal Gadot no more money, a lot of money. They probably would have to pay her a lot of money just for that scene alone. So I guess they had to not settle, but the only two people that would be like, money doesn't matter really, and and my movie is coming out, The Flash and Aquaman or whatever. But then I believe Peacemaker, because you see the Flash's suit, I believe it was set before the Flash movie that's coming out.
Right. Give me just a second. 2 seconds.
Okay.
My wife is having. Oh, okay. She's like, oh yeah, sorry. She's out doing stuff with the girls, and I'm like, don't you have my card? You'll be fine. I said, grab it before you left. I don't know. No, but I completely agree. But what comes with a lot of that is the people who they do a lot of like they leave their contracts. I noticed Warner Brothers and Marvel do that very famously. Like they leave like this broad stroke, like, hey, other duties as assigned, right? Basically, that thing we all sign as the working class. And I feel like this cameo, because of the good relationship James Gunn has with the actor who plays the Flash, and just as a whole, and they want to do something big, right? So now they can just be like, hey, can you show up, and just do this, like 15, we'll get you in costume. So like a day, give me a day of your time, and like they have no choice, right? Because they don't want to get any pushback on their movie, right? They both got big movies coming down the pipe. They need no negative press. So of course we'd like to go and do this movie that we don't maybe care about, or this TV show or make this appearance we don't want to do, like, so.
They should just they should just make all DC movies like borderline rated R for now on, because it seems like it's working best, doing going the whole TVMA rated R route for their DC movies. Like, as far as Marvel can only push so far with PG-13. Like Endgame and Infinity War, they had pushing kind of boundaries or whatever. But DC, like at this point, like in order for them to be either on the same margin as Marvel, they will have to keep going with that R-rated TVMA spectrum or chick or whatever, however you want to call it.
Yeah, well, it's a stricter process movie-wise, right? Like, so movies, they got a committee that sits there and goes, well, that was just a little too violent. And TV, they get so much more license on TV, so you can get away with a lot more without hitting. And once you've put the MA stamp on there for mature audiences, they know what target audience they're shooting for. My biggest issue with saying let's make all the DC movies like a hard R,
Yeah.
is that the reason that you're enjoying it now, in my opinion, this is my opinion, right?
Right.
Is because of the reason the culture's like or is absorbing it so well is because it's a shock value, right? Like,
Right.
oh man, like, so it's like, oh, I would never thought a superhero could be seen in this light with problems and depression and like a drinking disorder. Like none of these things were like, you think of that candy glossed, you know, lens we look through when we look at Marvel. And Marvel has a brand to maintain, but they're even giving in because that there was some backroom deal that was like, give me back my Marvel content, Netflix, let's go. Because I got this gritty show that's coming out and I want to go ahead and have a lineup. So when people are like, I like this, I want to see more. I've never seen, like, there are people out there who's never seen a single Daredevil episode, but they have Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Like Moon Knight coming out, then all their like, darker Marvel shows like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Yeah, they need to have all those going to Disney Plus so they can like, oh, I'm done with Moon Knight. Let's see what Daredevil's about. Let's see what Jessica Jones is about. Let's see what Luke Cage is. Let's see what Iron Fist is.
Right?
And then I
Because
think no, you go
you
ahead.
there?
I lost my thought.
Oh,
Just
no, it's all right. So sorry, and I just wanted to add on to it because look what just adding the actor for the Kingpin into the Hawkeye series. It said
yeah.
it increased it for like 2 weeks straight. It increased the Daredevil and basically that whole show content block that Netflix has. It tripled their viewer ratios, right? So at that point, it's a moneymaker. So they're like, oh, well, now we can take this and we can make it us, and now you got to come to Disney for everything.
They they did that. They did that just in time for No Way Home, which I was like I think I got off social media that whole week. That whole week for cause to avoid spoilers. And I thought I was wrong. I thought I was right the whole time. I was like, oh, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire ain't gonna be in this movie. And I'm glad I was wrong when that happened. I'm glad. Yeah, I was glad I was wrong. Like as soon as I saw I know that's not Andrew Garfield. I know it's not. Oh, it's Andrew Garfield. And then when they brought Tobey Maguire, the whole theater just lit up. The whole the whole theater just lit up when Tobey Maguire came through that portal. And I was like, and then I don't know if you noticed, but you probably did. But I thought he brought them from their universe since there was such a big rift in the multiverse. But it turns out that they were there the whole time. They were just laying low. If that
Huh.
makes
You
yeah.
know, and see, I feel like, like the way I felt like that they tried to explain that is that the first time he did what he did, it caused them to show up, right? So basically, the same time the villains showed, these people got dropped, and they would just been wandering the city basically looking for these people, going, because they were in the most random places. I mean, what
Yeah.
would you do? I mean,
Yeah, I thought as far as Electro backstory, like how he looked from Amazing Spider-Man 2 and how he looked now, I thought that, you remember what happened you remember what happened when Gwen from Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, when the
yeah.
collider exploded, she was sent back. I don't know how that worked, but she said she was sent back a week before the collider exploded. I had a theory is that though that he was there the whole time, And then when that stuff happened, it was just kind of like, when they broke the multiverse and they just brought him back. They just brought, that whole thing full circle. I just really thought he was there the whole time. I had a whole theory saying that, oh, he either had, he was there the whole time. He got it, used his powers, as an electrician or whatever, had a family, and was like, so much popular in that universe now. And I thought his motivations of him not wanting to go back was because of that. When he said, "Oh, you're not going to take this away from me," but it turns out it was just, "Oh, you're not going to take this new power from me." That was mainly it. But it would have been nice to see, but it was just a throwaway. Like, "Oh, we Marvel was like, oh, we like you looking better like this instead of just having a bad teeth and a overcomb." Like, we gotta just have like Jamie Foxx acting like Jamie Foxx. Like, cause I was like,
can't argue that.
I was like, it was like in the movie, he was like, when he was like talking to Connors and whatnot, he was like, let me guess, into a giant lizard. I was like, they told this man to act like himself in this movie, even though he had his own, like, how he talks about technology and how, show how smart he is. I got the whole Jamie Foxx show vibes from him. Like, yeah, that's just Jamie Foxx being Jamie Foxx, and that's what made me like love the character more in that movie, was because how Jamie Foxx-ish he was acting instead of Max Dillon-ish. Well, what was the thing? Oh yeah, the new train. You seen that thing I sent you in the group chat about the new Transformers movie? The Rise of the Beast. Yeah, like I read the plot of it. I mean, not the plot, but the premise. It was like, it's basically set in the 90s, and it's like it's going to be a like part of the reboot. Like, I guess they rebooting the whole thing, so we won't get no resolution from the last night, basically.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like basically new human characters and whatnot, and I was like, dang, I really would want some resolution from, from the Unicron bit at the end of the last movie. Yeah, I really like now what y'all gonna do with your Unicron now? Like, you introduce him saying that Earth was
and here
Unicron, and now we have
and here's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, now we have like another reboot, a new trilogy that we're gonna have to basically, you know, wipe the slate clean, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and I don't know how long it's been since you've seen the original Beast Wars that led from, that ran and then did the Beast Machines. They have a really, so what made, in my opinion, what made it so good. Well, it was technology wise, it was groundbreaking. Do you remember the show Reboot? It reminded me very much of Reboot, right?
Yeah.
Like in the 3D animation, but they took the story. And somebody on, I think it's like Auto88 is his tag name here on YouTube. But he's got really good like Transformer content, and I'm a little bit of a Transformer fan. I'm way more of a Power Ranger fan than I am Transformers. But anyways, the point of this is that this was the first time that they took, like, because Transformers have always been like massive, right? Like huge, like bots, and then Beast Wars brought them down to almost like just double the size of a human. Like, if you see them in the episodes when we have there's the primates out there. As much as I like Transformers, the original movie will always be the best. Yes, the '86 movie will always live in infamy. That's the reason it's so quotable to this day. But he's got a good point.
Wait,
so, like, my theory...
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that until, like, actually think about it, like what they were doing in on the show, like when they were standing side by side. I didn't know, like, they were like, regular human size, right? I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
didn't know
because
that.
Rat
I
Trap is
thought
the
they were
size of a
still.
person.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they were always, tall. 6'7", almost over 12 feet or whatever. I didn't know that. I did not know that until I actually thought about it just now. Like thinking of an older episode that I saw. And then did they do the same thing on Beast Machines too?
Yeah, they did the same thing when they went back. When they finally got back to Cybertron, they did the same thing again, and it was a unique twist because it ran parallel of the original Autobot timeline, which was something I was never expecting. Like when they found the Ark in like season 2, I think it was. They find the Ark in like season 2, and you see where the ship had crashed into the mountain, and that basically they make that their base for the last season. And then they bring the Nemesis back from the water. So it was completely crazy. But if you look on the size comparison, when Dinobot's running around in the control room, it's like his hands are like super small compared to the button indicators and all that. It's so nuts.
Hmm. So it's like basically all in the same timeline. Like is Beast Wars, Beast Machines like further into the future, or is it like in further in the like I don't know. Like I thought Beast Wars
Trans
had like it's deep like
Transformers lore is as confusing as like Star Wars lore, right?
uh,
Because it depends on how you want to roll with it and what iteration. Because when they went through the warp conduit or whatever, that's what threw them back in time. So they went to Earth, but they didn't know they were at Earth, and it was shortly after the crash of the Autobot and the Decepticon from the primary like 80s cartoon. Like that was the nuts part of it. So
okay. So what are your you can't make like predictions like with the new movie because it's probably gonna be loosely based off of Beast Wars. So you remember I showed you the video of the trailer for Dino Fury, right? I know we're like jumping all over the
yeah,
place. This is like I
we
said,
are,
this
but
is
it's
my
okay.
first live, everyone. So my first actual live that I'm actually talking. So I'm kind of nervous. So bear with me here. But
I think you're doing great.
oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I found you the trailer for Dino Fury, the new
Yeah,
yeah, and I made a theory about Boy Knight's wife. You remember when I got on your live and I told you about Boy Knight's wife?
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
like
yeah.
that prediction actually came true. Like she became Void Queen. Used the
I'm
used the
thinking.
Sporix to heal her, but she ended up turning into a Sporix beast herself. If that
See,
you
and
yeah,
that's
I
that's
was
where
like,
I'm
wait
at.
a minute. And I was like, because you playing with like dangerous stuff, and you're using Sporix as an energy source, and you think you're not gonna get no, consequences or blowback from that.
And the
They had
equipment was damaged too when he goes back.
yeah,
So that's the
yeah.
question: is it because did he figure out the science and was able, and then after his the mid season finale was the tech is the reason that it was or the reason things go awry, and then now here's my prediction. Here's one prediction I have. This happens, right, and she goes ipso facto nuts and starts trying to take out the Rangers. Then he does a flip flop because he didn't want this to unfold this way. He just wanted his wife back. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Power Rangers have some way to get her back to her human form, but not in like a comatose state. So then he decides to help them for the later half of the season. I have a prediction. I think, mark my words now, if that happens, I'm gonna be like, what I called it.
Just like I can see like his outfit too. Like you saw like him like demorphed. You saw that scan I sent you. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what does he have going on? It doesn't look like Rathcon wear or anything like that. I think it's like I believe that he said when he found Area 66 or whatever, and he said the humans abandoned this place many years ago. I don't think
Yeah.
Boyd is human. I think he's from another planet, either neighbor to Rafcon or somewhere else. Like I think he. I had a theory. I had another theory is that he tried to ask Rafcon for help because the sports, I guess like subsports got to his planet or whatever, and he asked for help, and Rafcon probably declined, and that's when he, stole some armor from a knight or whatever. I don't know. Maybe another knight came to Earth like right after them or something, and got that armor for a little while, and then Boy Knight actually stole it from him, and then he corrupted it and made it his own. I don't know. It could be a lot of things that's going on,
Yeah.
And then like you said, the first half of the season, that's good. Like I said, that's good. I was like, I hope they're not doing it weekly on Netflix because that'll totally defeat the purpose of buying it from or getting it from Nickelodeon. Because mind you, and I can be perfectly honest, I hated when it was on Nickelodeon the entire time because I said it like in one of my videos that Nickelodeon does not care about Power Rangers. Like, didn't care about Power Rangers at all. Like, they didn't.
No.
They basically waited a week before Dino Fury came out and promoted to put out a trailer.
Yeah.
They waited a week, and I can guarantee you, and then I can guarantee you that I swear that there was no promotion or nothing all the way up until like the week before it came out, and I was like, and then you want to show like a mediocre kind of trailer showing nothing basically, and you have to like figure it out on your own or whatever about what's going on. But I am excited for Dino Fury, even though like I prefer like the Red Ranger. I like how he gets his equipment and battleizers and whatnot. I'm For the first time I'm leaning towards my favorite character being Izzy. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like she's the first LGBTQ Green Ranger, and she's all
right.
Ranger overall in canon, of course, and she's a full badass in her own right. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Izzy being my favorite character.
Well, I'm definitely so. I've been and to answer Cornish Rangers question, I'm in the middle of watching it, so I haven't seen the brown one yet. I have seen a variant color, like a screen grab of something when somebody was doing something. So there's a very good possibility, but I haven't finished it yet. I'm a little bit of a slacker. I'm about four shows behind on things I'm watching right now because, well, that's just that's life. But my favorite character so far, development wise, has definitely been I've been as on the Ranger side. I would definitely say I like the way that they introduced the Gold Ranger in this season. Like I enjoyed that arc. I feel like we haven't seen. So it's always like the leader and the sixth Ranger eventually become friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not friends off the bat. Now this is now, and I guess in a sense you could say because they were friends, they were best friends, but then they kind of split ties over mutual differences, and then they all kind of hugged it out, right? Like so basically. But I like that dynamic because it shows, in my opinion, it shows the opportunity to grow as like kind of having. That's the one thing we haven't seen yet, not fully, not an official. And Sentai does it a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but they've done it once or twice, where it's been a whole family dynamic. I want to see a whole line of family been given a power, or given power coins, or the next iteration of power, and Hasbro's the jumping off point for that now, right? Because we're not using the Hensai footage anymore, so that means we're going to be able to we're going to do whatever. And here is and I know I'm making like 3 points here, and I'm sorry, but
no, it's okay.
here is my biggest push on this. They can't just soft reboot it. They can't go, oh, well, let's redo the Green Ranger story arc. No, it's been done. You're being given, something that is epically above board, and you can do whatever you want with it. And you have to take the opportunity to push hard and really come up with new stories, new Rangers, new powers. You can keep it in the same vein, but we have to do something amazing with it. What's up, Spartan? That is my final point. So I am very hesitant because we've had this formula for almost 25 years that's worked. And, not perfect. In some seasons, like you said, Nickelodeon's a bad, and I'm bringing it back here, but Nickelodeon's, a great example of how they just didn't care. So is Disney. And I feel like Saban gave up for a little while, and then they saw that, with, because I feel like when they saw what they could do with Time Force, they were like, all right, well, let's make Lost Galaxy, and then we weren't sure what we wanted to do, so then we had Wild Force, and I don't know if you remember it from a kid, but Wild Force started on Fox and then moved over to ABC.
Yeah, 2 episodes a week. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I said, when's Power Rangers Wild Force coming back on? And I remember I was like watching X-Men Evolution. Like the first day was like doing a recap of the previous season. I remember this day. I can't believe I remember this day. Doggone, I'm up here flipping through the channel. I was like, oh, let me go see what it's like. And then I guess I accidentally flipped it to ABC. And then I was like, what is this? And it was the episode after Cole defeated Master Ord and Mandalot appeared. And that's when the episode when Zanaku came back again and fought all 6 Rangers. And then the episode following that was the introduction of Mandalot to the Rangers, eating the city or whatever, eating buildings or whatever he was doing. But yeah, I remember that they transitioned from Fox Kids to ABC, and then they put like the new episodes came on first on ABC, and then quote unquote they put new episodes of Wild Force on ABC Family. I thought they was going to show additional new episodes, but it was really new for ABC Family because ABC Family was always behind. Every time it was like, oh, we got this show from another channel, new episodes this week, blah, 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 blah. Then as soon as I was like, I seen this episode already. And now all of a sudden, now it's like, oh, new for ABC Family, not new for us that's seen it already. Because they did the same thing to Smallville. They was like, oh, yeah. New episodes of Smallville coming on, blah, 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 this date. You go to it, it's the beginning of the 3rd season. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And like I said when I was like, Nickelodeon doesn't care about Power Rangers. Like they'll go as far as like showing only a few episodes, and then they'll completely skip an episode for that week. For the Kids' Choice Awards, mind you, for the Kids' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
They'll skip a whole episode and then they'll do a whole SpongeBob marathon all the way up until the Kids' Choice Awards. I was like, first of all, what does a SpongeBob marathon got to do with the Kids' Choice Awards? And what does putting Power Rangers on hiatus for a week have to do with Kids' Choice Awards? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, were the Rangers at the award? And I don't know what was going on. They did 4 episodes after that. That's when they go on a little hiatus all the way up until September. And thank God for people posting it online on Facebook. That's how I was able to watch the rest of they did that for Dino Charge. They didn't do it for Ninja Steel.
But they did do it for Beast Morphers, though. I know a lot of episodes I watched on Facebook because it just you couldn't find them anywhere. Yeah. And this is when I actually had a dedicated spot in my DVR to swoop up new episodes, right? And it would be so out of joint, and it was just easier because the Facebook was more reliable than the network producing and airing the episodes, which was crazy to me.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, okay. I remember I stumbled upon it for Beast Morphers because when they did their little mid-season finale, I believe, when they found out E-Box took over the mayor's body, I was like, man, I don't feel like waiting all the way up until I don't want to wait all the way up until they do like the good cameo stuff and guest stars and the team ups or whatever. Then 2 days later, there it is. There it was. The what's it called? The E-Box snare episode. Got shown Dr. K. Because like I said, I don't know if everybody agrees with me, but Beast Morphers should have been the 25th anniversary. I'm sorry. In my opinion.
I feel well, and like that's choppy waters, right? Because I believe that Beast Morphers would have made a better 25th season than what we got with Megaforce and Super Megaforce. And I know Super Megaforce and Megaforce gets lots of hate, like I was doing research. I quoted the Comic Book Blaze and also the Geek Den both have Troy as like the weakest and the worst Red Ranger ever. Like it's multiple sources, and that's what I feel like. A leader's very important on a team, right? Like like a lot of people got hooked with Jason, stayed with Tommy, and then when Tommy became the leader, he became infamous, right? Like he passed the level of where he was, but he was a good leader. And then that's and this you want to talk about controversial takes, right? This is why I like the second half of Turbo, because I liked TJ as the Red Ranger. I thought it was great. He did a good job. Don't get me wrong. That season itself, the Sentai footage is there was a lot of comedy in it, right? So it wasn't taken as seriously as Mighty Morphin or the following season after that. It was more ha-has and laughs in there, and that's the reason we got some of the silliness we got when it came to like the pizza episode and some of the other things, but it had some good moments, and I will always give it top down. He took the Ranger team. Okay, it wasn't his fault because everyone's like, well, it was because of him in the command center. He destroyed 2 Zords and lost the command center all in like 3 episodes, right? Well, that wasn't his fault though. His support.
I'm sorry. They were all. First of all, they were left. They were by their mentor. They were left all alone by themselves. They were left all by themselves, and they had to fend for themselves. That's like the first time ever that a Ranger team had to think for themselves instead of being told what to do. Like that was setting the ground point for In Space, Lost Galaxy, and so on. Like they have had seasons where they had like mentors. They had like mentors for every other season, like Lightspeed Rescue, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, and all that. But as far as leadership goes for TJ, despite him being the Blue Ranger in space, he still was the leader. Andros was just the face,
right?
He was just
he was.
That's it. TJ was still the leader. He was still the leader. He was still making decisions. He even came up with a plan to defeat Psycho Blue. He even at the beginning of the episode, what's it called? Blue of a Kind or something. What's it called? Blue of a Kind or One of a Kind? I don't know. But he came up with a plan to switch off with the Psycho Rangers. When that didn't work, he came up with a plan. Okay, what if we just all we were just all the same color? Came up with that plan. Defeated Psycho Blue. He was coming up with plans, but
and then also when they come back for the Power of 10 episode, right? Andros, as always, he's always been the lone gunman, right? He's the guy. He's the Old West. I'm going out there doing my thing. When his second in command's running the team, even when they did the Power of 10, he didn't loop up all the other Rangers and were like, "Hey guys, let's go save Galaxy." No, they were like, "Hey, would you like us to show up?" And who was there? making the call from the roof. TJ was, hey, you need some help down there? Let's rock it, I was like, there you go. That's true leadership right there. You saw the need.
Yeah.
The best ranger. Okay, so believe it or not, 3 different, and mind you, the opinion of the internet is low. Sorry, I just want to answer the cosplayer dude's question. So I did 3 I did 3 basically polls that people that looked into the worst and best ranger. So Mighty Morphin, hands down, but it's Dragon Shield. That's 2 of them actually note that Dragon Shield is, like, Jason was a great leader, but he was the most powerful leader only when and if he had the Dragon Shield. Ranger was, as we were talking about, kind of how we got into this line of thought with TJ, was Troy from Megaforce. He was a poor leader, and he was also showing weak. Followed by Nick from Mystic Force is weakest, and then the 3rd spot goes to Jaden, and then the power. But they even mark as the 2nd best Red Ranger throughout the 25 season, that's the circle point I was coming to, was JT from Turbo. They give him Nick from. That's what they said, man. I don't know. Like, I understand Nick got a lot of hate, and I can definitely get that
because he had all this power and had a whole prophecy about him, and you chose to give up when things got hard in the finale. This could have been it could have been more understandable if this was like a maybe a 4 or 5 episode arc. No, you did this at the end, the dead end, to where the dead ends decide to give up. I was like, you decide to do this now, where the master of evil is just staring right in our face, and you decide to give up now. Man.
See, and I feel kind of like what Quick is saying in the comments. I feel like he did what he did. He had a big legacy to live up to, right? And that's hard. When you're a kid, you're basically getting. You find out you've been being mentored by your mom for like almost a year now. You find out your dad, is the guy that's been trying to kill you for almost a year. And then, you finally get him back. You lose him again. You go through these back and forths, all the stuff that's happened to Nick. And I feel it did reflect a human side to his character, right? Like, that's it. I've had enough. I'm done. I don't care that the rest of the world is weighing on my shoulders and I need to keep pushing forward. I don't care. I'm done. I need a break. I need a timeout. I really feel that that's human, right? Where he had a lot thrown at him, and he was like, and basically everybody from him, from Jin to, his Udana to, Korag, or Liambo, they all basically just turned to him and they were like, figure it out, man. You're the leader. I mean, in my opinion, I feel he got a rough rub. I do. I feel like putting him down at like the 2nd worst Red Ranger is a little bit of an injustice. Like, but,
Nick is not like the 2nd worst, in my opinion. Like, he's not the 2nd worst. Like, I really all think that every Red Ranger have like, room for improvement. I don't want to say that they're all bad. Like, I say like a season overall. I can say a season overall is bad, but I can't like be like, I really, really hate this Red Ranger, or I really hate this Yellow Ranger, or whatever. But I really don't like giving a Ranger a bad rep. Like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right for me to say, oh, Troy is just the worst. I just be like, it's just like what he was given, and also they decided to go with the worst takes, like how they act out a scene, and they just go with the worst take of that scene. So I don't know how they was able to do that consistently with Troy. Like, y'all was the worst takes of like each scene. Like, they probably had a really, really good one, but it was like Nah, we're gonna go with this one. The way he was like forced crying to Robo Knight. I thought that was pretty
right? And
cringe worthy.
I and see like there's and that's where I feel like Troy, like he doesn't fail as a leader. He fails as just kind of like a genuine, you
Person.
know, his right, yeah, like just his writing was trash. Like that was a
Yeah.
great story arc. You made this great connection with this ancient robot, and you guys, you basically became friends, and like you saw that, right? But everything was all like very the conversation was robotic, right? It was,
Yeah.
you know, oh well, my friend, and you know, oh, what will he do? Like I'll never forget that when they introduced him and he was on the bus and he was just like, oh, something's coming. And it's like, what? Dude, you just saw every ranger in the universe and you have no idea what a Power Ranger is right now. You know, like, I would be like, I'd be flipping out. You know,
I was like,
I'd be
why
like,
am I seeing this? Like
right?
me out of all people, why am I seeing this? And then you probably gonna have go throughout the day, probably gonna have an idea what's gonna happen. You don't want to jinx it, and then you be like, oh, you're the Red Ranger. I'm like, dang, yes. But at the same time, I'm like, dang, something bad.
I'm the Red Ranger.
Like in all is gonna happen. Like, but uh, yeah, but in my opinion, I know you already know this. Like people who saw my profile pic before, my favorite Red Ranger of all time is Wes, hands down. Like I feel he had the most development. Like fighting against his fate. Or who he was supposed to be and who he wanted to be, and that that set with me really well when Wes's character developed more in Wild Force, and then even though he had a small cameo in Mega Force, and he did a little bit more in Ninja Steel, but then Tommy took over, which is I bring up my opinion from another video I did saying that I don't want to see another anniversary season where they glorify Tommy. Like there
Yeah.
are other heroes that did more than what Tommy did. Like I felt like him becoming the White Ranger, then the Red Zero Ranger, then the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. I felt like, in my opinion, that was his highlights to me. That was the only thing that Tommy had going for him. But there were like other Rangers that dealt with other stuff. Like you could have dealt with, like, let's say Scott from RPM. Like you could do an anniversary season to where it's like dealing with, PTSD from a dying world and whatnot. You have to
Yeah.
put everything back together, and Andros too. He's still dealing with, you know, dealing with the loss of Zordon. Like he could be still grieving and still, like, having nightmares, and it could drove his relationship with Ashley apart. There could have been like so much that it could have done in the anniversary season. Like it could have, say, like Andros and Ashley's relationship. Like you could have had in Ninja Steel, they would have brought Andros back for Ninja Steel, Andros and Ashley back, and the 2 episodes before or 3 episodes before, you can have Calvin and Haley go through something to where it's like it affects Calvin more, and it causes Calvin and Haley to break up, and then we get into that anniversary season to where it's Andros and Ashley talks to Haley and Calvin to tell them that, oh, we've been through the same thing, and if y'all really love each other, y'all gonna have to get through this. And y'all Power Rangers, y'all have to find a way to work this out if y'all really love each other and wants to be Rangers. There's just so much they could have done, but they chose the safe route and glorified Tommy. And that was just off the top of my head. I didn't write that down.
No, but it's good points, and that, and I'll address this too. Cosplay Dude basically says in here that one of the things that made him mad was because I assume because you mentioned Andros, you know, his great sacrifice that wiped out everything. I've heard this argument before, you know, and the way I'm going to address this is it's evil is always has to exist for good to exist. So we couldn't have Power Rangers if we didn't have villains for them to fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I feel that it did was the armies had amassed to such a point where you had the Machine Empire, Divatox's crew, Rita and Zed's monsters. You know, basically you had all these people pulling together, and it was the biggest, most overwhelming army. I mean, they were losing. They had lost by the
Yeah.
time Andros got to the space station. They had lost. Like, this was a last-ditch Sheppard. He was going to do the solo thing and save his sister and bounce, right? Then he found Zordon, and he basically made the sacrifice play, and all that did was push back the rising tide. That's, in my opinion, I get where a lot of people are like, well, then how can you have future seasons if Zordon did all this? You know, how could what was it? It was Thrax. How could Thrax be there? How would Thrax still be alive? You know, and they never really explained that in like the lore. But you have to realize is that, or not have to realize, in my opinion, you have to take it with a grain of salt because A, they're out there they're pumping out content, but B, now it's an even scale again. It's one versus one. You know, and like I said, I'm not trying to push my point home. I appreciate, you know, and he says, good, you have a good point. You know, but I feel like what it did is it tipped the scales back to neutral, in my opinion. And that's why we will forever be grateful for Zordon, because without him, we would have lost. Game over. It would have been over.
Oh, you're saying that, you know, it was like the universe at that time was like oversaturated with evil,
Yeah.
basically. And when Zordon
Yes.
did that, he basically, you know, scaled it back a little bit. You know, gave, you know, future Rangers a fighting chance just in case, like a new evil rises. You don't want old evil to be packed on top of that, also, because
Right.
you got on Earth, you got with Power Rangers, certain Power Rangers like Power Rangers Samurai, Power Rangers like Rescue, got Ancient Evil number 45, on Earth. But you dealing with that, but then you're gonna have to deal with the Machine Empire or um, Lord Zed and his forces. Like if they were still around, if Zordon ever did that, future Rangers would have had to either, with Samurai. Samurai would have been dead because they would have had to deal with the Nylok, and they would have had to either die with, the Machine Empire or Lord Zed, Rita, and Dark Spectre and his forces or whatnot, and Divatox. But
That's a lot. That's a big. That's a rogues gallery of villains right there.
and
And I
plus you have to
feel like
fight them,
that's
and plus you have to fight the Nylok, or you have to fight this, ancient demons that uses magic like Mystic Force. Like Mystic Force was probably had a chance to defeat those factions of evil, but I highly doubt it. It probably would have been close. Operation Overdrive, they would have got stomped because they already had their factions of evil: Fear Cats, Florius, and Moltor.
that's one of the topics I have for Operation Overdrive as an underrated series. Great villains and story arcs for villains. Florius, Motor, you know, like Fear Cats. I completely agree with that whole point. I love that you said that because I completely support that theory. That was the one good thing, in my opinion, that came out of Operation Overdrive, besides obviously Once a Ranger, because that was a great episode, you know.
A
But
lot of people
yeah,
disagree with that. I thought it was an okay episode because Jack was supposed to reprise his role, but he
really.
declined because of the fact that he didn't want to work closely with his ex, and that was Kira.
Kira,
They were
yeah.
they were dating at one point in real life, and I guess
Okay.
they broken up, and he didn't want to work with her or anything like that. So that's why they declined. He declined, and they called Bridge. Bridge was just as good. But I was just saying though, like I would have liked to see Jack again, even though his character finished, like his character from the end of SPD. But going back to what I was saying, like I wouldn't keep glorifying Tommy because Tommy can't do it forever. Like that whole story with Soul of the Dragon, that was the whole point to where it's okay. This is it for Tommy. Tommy needs to retire, but you still put it far in the future to where SPD exists for Tommy to retire. He was working. He was still fighting with a broken back that he had to go get. He had to go get fixed every now and then because he was still doing Ranger stuff. Had a full blown Wolverine beard and everything. Still doing Ranger stuff. Still like fighting evil. Where you have teams of Rangers out here fighting the good fight. You can sit down now. You see your wife sitting down. Like, why can't you?
Sit down. I'm gonna need you to sit down. But you know what? No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would just say like, please sit. I was saying, please sit down. Like, Jesus Christ.
But you know, I mean, and that's the thing is like, and this is where I will always respect the actor JDF because he was out there hustling. I think I've said this before, but he was out there hustling and grinding and keeping the Power Ranger fandom alive at all the cons, right? He was the one who convinced David Yost and Walter Jones to first start coming out to the cons. Obviously, him and Johnny Young Bosch were friends. So, like, you know, like because of him, we got the opportunity when Power Rangers was being drowned out with so many other things, you know, so much other not better, just newer and refresher takes on content, right? Like,
yeah.
And he fought against the stigma, so he was always an ambassador. But like, I always thought it was funny that Saban, even though everything he did for Saban, like got them, you know, kept them going out there, and you know, through the Disney handover and rebuy from Saban, they never gave him like an official, hey, buddy, yeah, please endorse us, or we're gonna endorse you, we're gonna back you. And I think that's where it should have stopped. Like once after Saban rebought and they found their second wind, because really, I feel personally, Power Rangers got a second wind right for Ninja Steel, right? Like they went back to some basics. That's the reason I always feel that way about it. And like you touched on it too. You had all these other great characters, and they had very small parts.
Cosplay
And
Dude 637. I'm sorry. Cosplay Dude 3637 asks, "What's our opinion on Hyperforce?" I only seen a few episodes. Like if they come out with top game, I only seen a few episodes. Like I think like maybe one or two, and then parts of another one where the Black Ranger got taken over by the Vengex virus. But besides not seeing all of it, it was pretty good to me, in my opinion.
I think that a lot of it. I don't know. Did you see the video I posted from the actor who is doing a lot of the fan? Carl's his first name.
Crimson something. I forgot.
Yeah.
I seen I seen that Shattered Past and Rise of the Ninja and what else? I seen Unworthy too. Like I follow Unworthy. I plan on doing like a video on that really soon. Like like reviewing a lot of Power Ranger fan films or fan shows and whatnot, because they are really good because they put their time and effort to bring their vision of what Power Rangers is supposed to be to life. Especially
adding to the legacy.
Yeah, especially with like as a I don't know if you see you probably noticed, everybody in this whole live noticed that like as of lately, like movies, TV shows has been experiencing or dipping into the multiverse.
Yeah.
Man, Power Rangers is no different. Power Rangers is no different, but Power Rangers, it should like Power Rangers. That is a great, um, I would say, a great outlet to explore the multiverse with, because there could be like millions upon millions of timelines to where certain things could have led. Because like I had a friend. He had written a fan fiction, or he made a fan fiction character to where it's a fan fiction version of Zach Taylor, to where even though he piggybacked off of the Boom comics, saying I don't know if you read that when Zach, um, I think it was a dream, was either a dream or did it actually happen to where Rita tried to offer him to be the Green Ranger, or was
Oh
it a
yeah,
dream?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was basically it was basically a nightmare that he had.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. My one of our friends, he expanded on that to where he actually did become the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, and then he became the Red Zero Ranger. 'Cause basically, Zach took Tommy's place in that universe. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, people expanded on. I've written a couple of fan fictions based on upon like certain especially with SPD. I read I did 6 years after the final episode. It got at first it was kind of a little rocky due to the grammar because it's my first fan fiction, and then it just got crazy in the end. And then I tried to do some
What's super
tie-in.
sensitive? Sorry, I was reading this comment.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I haven't seen the newest one that popped because I'm still working through the kaiju or the not the kaiju ranger the current iteration of Fury, and I would like to, you know what I would like to see, is I'd like to see more Common Rider stuff be brought to the forefront. Like the only thing we've ever gotten from Common Rider was Dragon Knight. I'd like to see more Ultraman. I'd like to see more Common Rider because we had. I'm sorry, scratch that. The only somewhat successful run was Dragon Knight. We also had Mass Rider, which was Common Rider, but like that, and we had that one okay crossover. But that's what I would like to see. I would like to see more because I feel like we're pretty even, right? Like we skipped out. Oh, the super. I knew somebody was gonna mention. I can't with the super. That Sentai Train show. Like I don't know if you've ever tried to watch it, but it was rough.
I seen the movies.
What?
I seen the movies
What?
of Future. And I seen like the epilogue movie too, to where it's like they.
What's your favorite Power Rangers season? We're getting a question in the comments asking about that.
Mine's is
Zio's gonna be go. Okay, go. You go first.
No, I was just like giving that one straight answer. Mine's is Time Force all the way. Like especially
See,
the suits had. I'm sorry, the suits had drew me in, and the overall basically that story arc where expanded upon Frax and then Rancic of how he got that Venom arc and then Alex coming back. That whole story arc alone, like I was like, yeah, Time Force is my favorite season. And you think like that whole thing expanded like 12, 14 episodes. All that was 4 episodes. And it made it seem like it was more to me. Well, you go ahead. Like, yeah, that's all I want to say about that.
You're fine. Obviously I'm always gonna have a spot in my put because for me I started with the OG Power Rangers, but I am the first season I bought, and I had to buy it twice because once upon a time you couldn't get Power Rangers on DVD like you can now. You had to order it from across the way and hope it was subbed or dubbed. And the right region. I still have a Zeo copy that I got from like France or something, and it's
Yeah.
the wrong region. I'll never be able to watch it, and it doesn't matter. But it's because anyway, there was a cool case, and I got to use it for when they actually released Zeo in the United States. So Zeo was the first one I ever bought. I loved the redemption arc for Jason coming back and kind of getting that. I feel like I understand there's going to be a lot of people who are like, well, what about Billy? Billy deserved it. He deserved that spot. And I support that cause, but he was going through his own troubles off set, or off the TV show on the set of
Yeah.
of the show itself. So they made a good pivot. Um, I thought it was really good. I liked the fact that it didn't, they treated it like the Green Ranger, but they left it there, right? They didn't go, oh, well, we'll bring his powers back or turn him into the White Ranger. It was, okay, you're here for 12 episodes. That's it. And then it was cool because it gave us the chance to use some Alien Ranger footage. And a lot of that footage gets lost. Like I grabbed a snippet of like the Sentai version of that fight with Zeo and the Alien Rangers for the Sentai portion of it, and it's so much more detailed and so much better on that aspect. And that's one of the things my wife says a lot too, and I really support the cause. When you see some of our fighting stuff, like I think, and this will go to the Lightspeed comment, like we did it right with Titanium Ranger. That
Yeah.
that was good. The fight scene was good when he got dropped. I wish we could have seen more of it. I understand why it was, but they had a really good idea and they ran with the premise. The fight scenes were good, and I was happy with it. I was like, yeah, look, we can pull off Power Rangers, right? And like with the Sentai, you see that you see that respect for the martial art and the sparring aspect, because that's all they're doing on the scene. They're not really beating each other
Yeah.
up. They're just sparring with each other. But it's so fluid and it's very elegant, and I appreciate that a lot. I really do.
So so the next thing I want to talk about is Sonic 2, and they already announced Sonic 3. In case y'all don't know, or y'all didn't know or wasn't catching up on it, they already announced Sonic 3, and a Knuckles series is in development for Paramount Plus, and Idris Elba is set to return. So I was like, dang,
Man.
like already, like, and I wondered if this Knuckles series would be after Sonic 2 or before Sonic 2, because because I would like to see either something before Sonic 2, like it'd be just as good to see something after, but I would want to see something before, like how when he was born, what are her motivations, why is he working for Dr. Robotnik, all this other stuff.
We got to be careful with that too, because a lot of people wanted that from Book of Boba Fett, and look what we got. I'm just saying. There was like a story arc about because it really did become like season 2.5 of The Mandalorian, and like I know like there's a lot there. I try not to cross over I try not to cross over in Star Wars territory, but I just the fan base is so bad. It could be really rough.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised that I haven't seen any people going back and forth, beefing about Star Wars or whatnot. The only thing I've been seeing on here as of lately is
Ooh. Did you read his comment?
No, I didn't see. I can't see his comments on.
Oh, you can't?
I don't think so.
Oh, so he says, "Do you think?" Sorry, I didn't know that. Do you think we'll get to see Shadow in the live-action Sonic? I would like to see Shadow in Sonic.
Well, it'd probably more likely. That's why they probably announced the third film. Is to have Shadow. Like, I mean, I don't know if his origins, like, is he cloned, or is he a clone version of Sonic, or is he part of Sonic's race? Or I don't know. I don't know if it's
I don't want to speak to that. I'm not very high up on my Sonic.
Oh.
I know more. I know because like what I don't even think we got a Shadow Sonic in the first iteration of the cartoon ABC show from back in
Uh-huh.
the 90s.
Oh,
I
no, okay.
think Doc, right?
Nah, oh heck no. I
Yeah.
seen the shows like I didn't see no Shadow. That's like a later thing.
Yeah, that nope, we never. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought I was pretty right on that, but I only can fit so much content up here, right? It starts to get like,
Yeah.
woo.
Yeah, though. Yeah, you be. Sometimes I be sucking up so much information. Like, it be like seeping out when I'm like talking to my wife about other stuff. Like, she could be talking about Euphoria, and I be like, you, you know, I was like, Zato got a battleizer. I was like, I was like, oh wait, we talking about Euphoria. We talking like, no,
Nah,
just
that's
in case
my.
Euphoria is pretty good, but like be wary of your eyes when you first watch it. Just so you FYI. But it's pretty good. Like the visuals of Euphoria, like they're on point. The visuals, like yeah, they're on point.
So we got
So
another question in the comments, which I feel like is worth a question. Why do you think Lightspeed gets overlooked when it comes to the Power Rangers? I'm gonna let
does
you answer this one first.
does it get overlooked? That's my question. Does it get overlooked? I don't feel like it gets overlooked. Um, because Carter can basically take on the demon hordes by himself. In my opinion, but I don't think it gets overlooked. The only thing I take away from Lightspeed Rescue is the lackluster team up that they did with Lost Galaxy. They could have did so much more with that, and that the fact that they dubbed Leo's voice horribly, like I guess because some behind the scenes drama, like when they was like filming, and they got to do ADR, and he basically walked off set. Same thing goes with the Trakina actress. That's why she had that face covering on her face, because the actress, she walked off set during filming.
I do
But
remember that. That I remember hearing. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't.
Well,
But yeah, I don't think Lightspeed Rescue could be looked over. I think Lightspeed Rescue is pretty good, especially when Olympia shows
Space.
up.
Nope. See, I think Olympia was a great story arc. Like that whole like Diabolical's arc and everything like that's really good. I was a huge fan of Lightspeed um, when it aired, and I still and true story. You can ask my wife. When Amazon was running a deal, like you could buy all the Power Rangers for like $10 a season. The first one I bought was Lightspeed Rescue. I bought the full season, and I'm actually in the middle of getting stuff to highlighting the trio right now. I can't remember their name because it eludes me, but I wanted to do that. So I'm in the middle of gathering stuff for them right now to make a couple of Lightspeed videos. So there will be Lightspeed content. I feel
You
that
mean
a
those three
lot of
demons?
people, yeah, the three demons that were like basically like the main
I know
like
one of
foot
them.
soldiers for Diabolic.
I know one of them name was like Demon Knight or something like that. I remember their name was Demon Knight or whatever.
Was there?
I believe the three generals,
I'm gonna
right?
have to.
The three generals, the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
three monsters that Diabolical had supposedly before he got killed off. Allegedly, I mean before he came back again.
Well,
Was it
and
that?
the
Yeah.
crazy part was that was one of the baddest scenes when he's on the pier and he's just like he's got the gun up against his chest and he knows it's like that makes a great leader. He's like, no man, I will pull this trigger and I will wipe us both off the planet right now. I don't even care. Like that's dedication to the cause.
Hey, you want to know what I miss about Power Ranger finales? Even though they're gonna win, and they spread it out for like 3 weeks, like part one or part two. and part 3 be a week later or whatever. It's the fact of the uncertainty that you feel. Like you watch the first part on a Saturday, and then you gotta wait the next 2 Saturdays for the final 2 parts, and you be like, dang, what's going to happen? Are they going to make it out okay? Especially on the Lost Galaxy finale. I was like,
Yeah.
are they going to make it out okay? Is Leo going to die? Dang, what's going to happen? Are they going to make it out okay? Especially on the Lost Galaxy finale. I was like,
yeah.
Before she transformed into the green monster or whatever, like her look when she fused with Deviant, that scared the hell out of me when I first seen it. I don't know if it was the makeup or whatever, and it was the fact that she took more of Deviant's unrestraint and his attitude. That's what made her do all that stuff. It was mainly Deviant's. If Deviant was in charge, doggone, he would have invaded Terra Venture day one like that.
You're not lying.
What's that? Sorry, I'm reading this question. Sorry, just joined, but one of the things I miss is like the passing of the torch that stopped. One of the things. Oh yeah. You talking about like what they did in Turbo,
changing from Turbo and then into space, because
okay.
Yeah. So like they basically took, because I and you saw it, like, so it got really highlighted in the three part story arc for different shade of pink. They worked hard to bring Catherine in to swap that around, right? And they go through it, and then that was like the first real like swap off of power. Obviously, if you want to credit with Jason, Trini, and Zach being swapped out with Aisha, Rocky, and Adam, okay, but like a legitimate, hey, listen, my life has changed. I can't be a Power Ranger anymore. Here you go. I feel it was very iconic. The only one we really got a full like resolution to was the pink powers, right? Because they went from Mighty Morphin Ninja, and then they went over to Zeo, and then Zeo into Turbo, and then Turbo into in space, right? Basically, you were handing it off, but they all knew each other. So there was camaraderie. Like Kimberly knew Catherine, and Catherine became friends with Cassie. So then she swapped. So it was like, I feel like that was a true transition of power, and I don't feel like we saw that. Jace, I guess Tommy, JT, I guess.
He said, I love how they hand the famous handshake in the Sentai with the red ones. Yeah, I seen all of those when they did like a supercut of that. Of all the Red Rangers passing the torch or doing a handshake or whatever. I especially like the one with the Lupin Ranger and the Path. I don't know if I'm butchering the name, but Patho Ranger, where they were supposed to be doing handshakes, but they were basically shooting at each other. If you've seen that one, like when they was passing the torch, they usually like shake hands and like walk off into like the sunset or whatever, but when Patho and Lupin Ranger was being introduced, they were shooting at each other. I thought that was pretty funny and pretty and fun to look at. It was different also.
Okay, this is a good question, and we do hear this one a lot. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I was done. Like I was just like saying that was pretty cool for what he was saying, the handshake or whatnot. But go ahead.
So, and you are right. Cosplay Dude asks, Voltron versus MMPR. Who would you guys stand with? And I've seen it done a bunch of times, right? I have. And if you search on YouTube, there's like 2 or 3 battles of like Voltron versus Megazord. And the Megazord just, I've seen a really fair, balanced fight and explained. And I can't remember, it's like a cartoon and they do it. And I can't remember what the guy, I wish I could plug him right now and I can't. But he does battles.
But ain't Voltron like sentient in a way?
See, and that's what I was going to say. That's the biggest difference between death battles. That's it. Yes, death battles. Yeah, they do a lot of great content like that. Nicely done. But Voltron has sentience, and also Voltron's made out of a material, like, basically I can only equivocate it. Like, there's nothing in the Ranger universe that's its equivalent. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, like, and I enjoy some Voltron. When they did the Netflix show, the reboot for it, I
Yeah.
watched all of them. They were really good. I thought overall we got good content. It was good story, and it took away a lot of the cheese, right? And
Yeah.
that was my problem with that particular, like, Voltron as a whole. Like, the fighting aspects were great. You know, it was Monster of the Week. You know, and then you were going after Lothar, and all this. So it was kind of like a thing. But I want to say MMPR, right? So Zord versus Voltron. Voltron has it all day. If I put the 5 Paladins against the 5 Rangers, the Rangers have it all day. That's where I draw the line in the sand.
So I sent you those scans about the Ninja Turtle movie for 2023. Yeah. Like it looked like it's going to be CGI, but the concept art looks like it's going to be like they're going to be just starting out, not like they're very well seasoned ninjas already. It looked like they would just be starting out. And I'll still see a Ninja Turtles movie. I don't care because I grew up on...
The last 3 were horrible, and I still watched them. Because I finally got to see Krang.
I grew up on the 2003 series. Even though, because as the 90s came on, and I, was comprehending content like, Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles and whatnot. The original show had ended already, and I was like, man, when we gonna get another Ninja Turtle show? Had to wait all the way to 2003 for a show, and it was really good.
Good one, brother.
It was really good up until the end, back to the sewer, or no, fast forward. When it got to fast forward, that's when I was like, dang, they done changed hands and dropped the ball, because they were doing from the first episode all the way up until like the Ninja Tribunal, the Ancient Shredder, and all that, and that was good. And then they just did away with it and just did fast forward, and then back to the sewer, and then back to the sewer ended lackluster, in my opinion. Like, I was like, this show should have ended way better than what it did. And then, as far as that, they're gonna have more movies for Paramount Plus, but they'll be focused on the villains though. A lot of Ninja Turtle villains, which it's kind of interesting, but I feel like they're trying to do what DC is trying to do, basically. With Peacemaker and whatnot. And as a Ninja Turtle fan yourself, and everybody in the comments, who would you want to see have their own movie on Paramount Plus?
I would really like to see a Baxter Stockman show. Like, I'd love to see like a little bit of before, like a few episodes. So you'd have the first 2 episodes. He's not hit by the mutagen yet. Like, he's just a scientist, and he kind of gets mixed up with the Foot Clan. And I'm spitting off the top of my head, right? And you never get to see Shredder. You just only get to see the Foot, right? Because we want to keep it street level. And I would love to see that. And then the mid-season arc would be like, so we're like, because like, I'll use Peacemaker as an example. They did seven episodes, right? So the first 3 episodes, we're just learning about the Foot. He's having to do more stuff like that. And then, bam, they crack. Then the Shredder shows up, cracks the fuse, and be like, now you're working for me. And he turns him into, like, the Baxter Stockman that we all know with the and they, obviously the CGI's come so much better, so you could really do, like, a good fly monster now.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that, as him, just trying to take out the Turtles. He's basically then they give him like a squadron of Foot plan and be like, your job is to go get the Turtles. Go. and like you don't see any more from Shredder or Krang or Rocksteady and Bebop. Maybe Rocksteady and Bebop make up like an appearance, right? Like the tag team episode, because they were doing something because there were so many other there were just like Power Rangers, there were so many different teams of turtles ish, right? Like there were the frog dude, there were like two other teams and I can't remember what they were, but it wasn't just frog, like there were so many other characters. Like somebody said Casey Jones. Casey Jones is a good example. So Bebop and Rocksteady followed Casey Jones over because he was helping the Turtles for this one episode. Mm-hmm. So because of that, now we have this epic team up, and we just kind of see a little bit of the Turtles, but they're really like off to the center, right? And it's more focused on the fight between, like Casey Jones getting a hand up on both of Rocksteady and Bebop and Baxter Stockman, just really cool stuff like that. Like they're there supporting Casey, and then like they go back to the status quo where it's just Baxter Stockman. Like I think that would be neat to see, in my opinion. I feel like the scientists and the people that bring the big bads and the monsters into play never get enough love. Like they don't get that opportunity to shine. They grind, man. May it be Finster from Power Rangers or any of the even what was the guy that did that was working for Zeltrax? Even Mesogog. I feel like we never really got to see Zeltrax's story unfold. Like these are all like story arcs I would have liked to see, and it would have been, in my opinion, we did get some of it. But to go back to the question, it'd be Baxter Stockman.
Baxter Stockman. The last two movies, they dealt with the Shredder and Krang. I was leaning towards more of when they do the movies for the villains, like they said, multiple movies for different villains. I would want them to deal with the Rat King, if you're familiar with the Rat King.
Oh yeah, good choice. Solid choice.
I would want them to deal with the Rat King because I don't know if you saw that episode of the Nickelodeon series when Splinter was being controlled by the King. That could be a good fight to see in a Ninja Turtle film, or that could be a good fight. Seeing their students versus the master, and also have to take out the Rat King because he's controlling Master Splinter and other rats and whatnot. It could be like a small, like you said, a small street level type movie, not like a world ending kind of thing. More personal, in-house personal stuff with the Turtles, Master Splinter, and the Rat King, and I would think I would also want them to do more development with Tokar and Razor from the Secret of the Ooze movie. They were seen briefly. I don't know if you've seen it. They were seen briefly in Turtles Forever. They were seen briefly. If you didn't know that, you seen that movie Turtles Forever with the 2003.
No, I didn't see that one. I did think about it, but no.
Oh, yeah, the 2003 series and the 1980 series team up together. And basically the Shredder.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, okay. I had to think about it hard. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the Shredder tried to destroy the Turtle multiverse, even if it means destroy himself, which was pretty dumb, in my opinion. Like, I was like, okay, Shredder, if you destroy everything, where you gonna go? Like, what then? What if you destroying the multiverse? What you gonna do then? Because if you destroy Turtle Prime, that's it. Like, where you gonna go? You can't hop over. But you're gonna go to the Ghostbusters universe. I doubt they'll welcome you with open arms. I doubt they'll welcome you. Oh, by the way, you seen that team up, right? Oh, you read that story with the
Power Rangers? Are you talking about? Yeah, the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtle team up.
No, the Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters team up.
Oh no, I haven't read that one yet. See, And to answer kind of what Michael's question too, I have no problem with Michael Bay movies. I don't. Like, they're just not my favorite. Like, and you mentioned it earlier in the comments. I really enjoyed the first one, the '90s. Secret of the Ooze is definitely like a popcorn fun movie, and that's the reason like I'm still a Transformers fan. Like, Michael Bay likes to blow stuff up, right? And
Yeah.
his storytelling is very like wibbly wobbly in my opinion, and it doesn't because it like he'll do something in one movie and then he'll completely contradict it in another. So, and I understand that's his artistic right. He's good at what he does. Otherwise, they would have been pulled him out of the director's chair. He has every right to try something new and put himself up there and giving it a run. I will watch them. I will always watch them if they're on the TV, but I won't go out of my way to watch them. Like, I own the first two Turtle movies, and I don't own the iterations after that though. So but I'm willing, like, because we were just talking about the '93 or the 2003 Turtle. I really enjoyed that whole season arc, like until they went to space. Then I was kind of there was that robot, the white robot, and they were on the spaceship and they jumped off the planet. Yeah, the Fugitoids. Yeah, that's where I kind of fell off. But I mean, it was still good, and I really enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah,
and he says, "Tough question. Did you think that Casey Jones? Well, in the new movie, I like this portrayal. So." Are you talking about the Casey Jones that was in the TMNT movie that had Patrick Stewart as the vocal for the villain?
I think he's talking about Stephen Amell. I think he's talking about Stephen Amell's.
Casey Jones?
Casey Jones, yeah. I think he's talking about that.
Yeah, Turtles Out of Time, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows. Oh, yeah, Stephen Amell.
Okay, then yeah, I think they made good choices. I support the cause. I think you can't... so the whole argument with Jason David Franks as Tommy the Green Ranger, and I'm going to support this man's claim to fame here. If you don't change, you can't grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the changes artistically they made with Casey Jones this time around were spot on. They fit the theme of the movie, and I feel if you don't try something new, you're going to end up with, well, yeah, he was just this guy from the Bronx, and he would just hit things with it, And
so you think
I feel like
you think it wouldn't have worked in that movie?
I don't. I feel. Yeah. See, I feel like. I feel like the audience it would have fallen on a lot of deaf ears for the audience, in my opinion.
I was like, with the whole him being the detective part, because I always knew, Casey Jones was always the lughead, always, punch, ask questions later kind of guy, and it wouldn't have bothered me. It wouldn't have bothered me him being wanted to be a detective or was a cop or nothing. If they didn't take away his dynamic and bicker, like kind of back and forth with Raphael thing. I was okay with it until they took that away. Like, you're gonna take that's like one of Casey's character traits, his relationship with Raphael. So for them to take that away was baffling to me.
Well, that comes at. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Even if they was going to do a third movie, they should have already started with that. Him and Casey bickering back and forth, and then be able to care for one another in the end. Because it said there's a lot in the comics, but because the comics, I read a lot of TMT comics lately, and the comics is far superior to any TV show or movie ever produced, in my opinion.
Some of the best, yeah. And he follows up with, it's an unpopular opinion, but I actually think Megan Fox was a good choice for April O'Neil, especially in the second Turtles movie. I do feel in the first Turtles movie where she hadn't found her footing. I do think she found her footing in the second one, and she would have killed a third reiteration of her character if we would have gotten it. If I feel that if Paramount was smart, they would reoffer the role to her again, because one thing fans like is consistency, right? That's the reason you get involved. You don't get involved with Power Rangers, you know, because it's colorful things you see on the TV, right? It's a good story, and it's a long running story, and the MCU's got that down pat. Everybody's heart was crushed when Iron Man died, right? Like a little bit of your soul went out of your body, and but you fell in love with the character, and I feel like that's one thing we haven't found on the big screen with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series as a whole. We haven't found that solidity point where now we get this constant flow of good content, and we have enough comics and we have enough backstory and enough rogues gallery to really make that happen now. Like, I feel that's the reason I was so excited about the second movie, because not so much for Bebop or Rocksteady and not so much for anything other than we finally got to see the Technodrome. You know how I've been wanting to see that on the big screen for years. I went to that movie in theaters just so I could see that. Epic, in my opinion. So, I mean, that's where I fall on April O'Neil. I agree with your point of view. I feel that if they gave her more roles as April, that it would be better for the franchise.
Wonder Jim said, yeah, Zordon was our Iron Man, which is true. It was very true. It's very true. Like, I was like, they really did that? Like, when I first saw it, I was like, they really did that? Like, Zordon like that? Like, they pushing the boundary of children's television back in the day. But yeah, like hopefully we probably see him. We could probably see him again, like as like the head morphing master or the heart of the morphing grid or whatnot. But I would like to see some resolution to like what actually happened to Zordon after because even though he said he was going to be gone, he really had no idea. Like, he really has no idea what was going to happen to him, because he had all that good energy sped up like inside of him, like, and once you shatter his tube, he thought he was dead, but he's just somewhere watching over, every Ranger, past, present, future, multiverse, whatever. But that could be a perfect.
I feel like we're starting to see a little bit of that world, and that's kind of why I'm sad and disappointed and also weary with what Hasbro has to do, right? Like, with us seeing Zed come back as basically an undead monster. They brought him back. They pulled him from the grave, right? Which confirms that Zordon did kill him. Like he killed the demon, or killed the evil side of him, or removed the evil side out of his body, however you want to slice that pie up. And now we're seeing the Morphing Masters for really the first time. We hinted a little bit in Steel, but now we got like visual confirmation. These are the Morphin Masters, and really they're just the Guardians. So we didn't have, you could say that, kind of like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, thing where, now he's a Force ghost, or, a Morphin ghost, or I don't know, did I just coin a phrase? But I feel like that we'll have to see over time, because that's the biggest thing, because they're picking and choosing the lore they want to use. Because you hear the argument right now all the time, is the comic book canon? And with them now using the morphing grid as almost a similar aspect, because there were the three Guardians, right, in the comics and also in the TV show now, that canonizes the morphing grid. It exists. And then it also fills in the backstory of where the ooze are, for beast morphers, where the ability for us to get the I can't remember what it was called now. The
Morphex.
Morphex. Yeah. So now we know that it is a substance that we can weaponize, for the lack of better terminology, right? You can just make Caesar Rangers. We
I think
go.
they, I think they took down the other Morphex towers around the world after the whole Evox thing at the end. I want to say that's what happened.
Well, I'm saying the technology's there, though.
I know that. Yeah, I think they kept keeping it with in house in Coral Harbor, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's
yeah.
fair. That can be
Oh
very.
yeah. He said
I,
I also like how they gave more in depth on the Nexus Prism. Yeah, yeah. I also like that too. Like they bring it back a source of power from another season to help out the current season. Now that's impressive. Like Hasbro's doing stuff. Like they actually bringing up old plot points and like make giving resolution to it or expanding upon it. Because like I would like certain things like as far as the next either the Nexus Prism, the Dynam gems or the Inner gems, like I would like for those to be expanded upon. Because like they said, even though the Dino Rangers lost their powers at the end of Dino Thunder, they still got somehow Kira got her powers back. I mean, I with the Sentinel Knight and Operation
yeah.
Overdrive, but then you see Ethan, Kira, and Trent in the legendary battle. So technically, they got their powers back. Like, how did that happen? You know, the Ninja Storm Rangers they got their powers back. Who else got it? Who else actually supposedly permanently lost their powers? They got it back. Who was that? I think it was the ninja. I think like they got their ninja powers back too, because like how was Tommy was able to summon his Falcon Zord off of Dimensions in Danger. I think that was, in my opinion or a theory, I think when he summoned the Falcon Zord, I think he morphed into his his white ninja powers. That's what
Okay.
I
Yeah.
because when he said White Ranger power, I believe he morphed into his ninja powers. Because when he fought his robot clone, he said Tiger Zord, but then towards the end of the episode, he said White Ranger power. So
Right. Right.
I think he has a total of minus Turbo, or he does use Turbo in the graphic novel. He has a total of like 5 forms. Five?
Yeah.
Is it five? Yeah, 5 forms.
Because
So
Draken makes 6.
yeah, all I'm talking about is Tommy with the Master Morpher.
Oh, with the Master Morpher, yeah. There's green, white, Zeo, Dino, and then there would have to be Ninjetti. Because White Tiger and Ninjetti are 2 separate coins. You know,
Yeah.
it was the Ninjetti coin, and then there was the White Tiger coin. So those
Yep.
are the 3 he got from Mighty Morphin. Then he got the Zeo power, and then he got the Dino power, and if you include the Turbo power, then he has 6.
Okay, so yeah, 6. Yeah. At Wonder Gem says like Kendrick's spirit can now be explained with the Morphe Master Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good theory. She could have like went into the morphing grid because she was still morphed when she destroyed the Savage Sword. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess she could have still would have went into the morphing grid even because she still had her powers despite her not being more. So that could be up in the air. But it said because the Morphe Masters help bring Steel back, similar to Lost Galaxy. You know what? I didn't think about that when they brought back Steel in the end of Beast
Mm-hmm.
Morphers. I didn't think about that. That totally went over my head. Like I thought, like, well, actually, the morphing grid is capable of anything. It is capable of anything, even materializing clothes. I guess. But yeah, that's a good point. Wonder Gem brought up about Kendrick's dying and then coming back due to the morphing grid. due to the morphing grid as a need. Like they need her. I guess they needed her to come back. I wonder if some of those graphic novels are canon, like the Psycho's Path. You read that one? The Psycho's Path.
Yeah.
Power Rangers.
Heck yeah.
I wonder if that one's canon to the Power Ranger lore, and I wonder if Sins of the Future. I wonder if that's canon. Because if they incorporate that into another anniversary season, that means the graphic novels are canon to the series. Because Soul of the Dragon. Let me backtrack. Tommy introduced his Master Morpher back in Dimensions in Danger, and then later on, we got the Soul of the Dragon graphic novel, and he had his Master Morpher. He said, "I feel like they are canon to a point." Yeah. You think like, let's just say they're like loosely based off those graphic novels, if certain things like that were to happen.
I feel, and I hate to use Star Wars as the reference point again, but there's legacy. So there's the TV show. I feel like the TV shows are everything in the TV show are canon, and then anything outside it's considered like legacy, right? And then they're doing the same. Power Rangers is doing the same thing Star Wars did. They're picking and choosing pieces of legacy material and sprinkling it in through the continuity. That's what I feel they're doing. Yeah, because without it, we wouldn't have the Morphin Grid. Because there was no such thing as the Morph. Like we had in Operation Overdrive, we got a small theory of the Morphin Grid, but it wasn't. There were no people attached to it. There was nothing to it, and it's just the last 3 seasons of iterations that we've really expanded and shown that they're the morphing masters, right? And that coin comes directly from the comic books. So that makes that canon, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it could be. I believe, in my opinion, also, I believe the Boom Studios, like as far as like Mighty Morphin and then the Power Rangers run, like from the Draken arc all the way up until the Elthurian War arc. I believe that's separate. I believe that's a separate reality from the TV show, because there are certain things that are happening in the Boom comics to where it's like it didn't happen in the show. Unless it did happen. If it did happen in the show, why they didn't talk about it? Like why they didn't mention it? Like, oh, what happened? Oh, this happened while we got this device during the Arthurian War or whatever, or when Draken invaded or whatnot. Like, I believe, like I said, I believe Boom is its own separate reality. Even though they visit other realities, actually, a separate reality, because I remember a story in there. I think it was like an anniversary, or I think it was either an anniversary or a volume or something like that, to where it was called Forever Black. When Zach got transported to another universe or something like that, because he got called by a variant of himself, and then called in a whole bunch of other variants of himself. And I saw Zach with the flat top. Basically, I saw Zach with the flat top, because you see like the Boom comics, they have like cell phones and digital media and all that, YouTube, and when Bulk was doing his podcast or TV show, because Bulk never had a podcast in the show. Like that's why I feel like Boom is his own reality, because even though it's like you can take certain elements from the show, I feel like it happened much later in the timeline, as far as like, let's say the original show 93, 94, but in that Boom universe, it's like later on. Like nothing didn't happen until it happened. Stuff happening and new things are happening too, but it didn't start until like, let's say 2000, 2003, 2004, I want to say. Or they probably using um, they're probably using. Oh, it started in 2017. Rita first arrived
Well,
in
but
2017.
Michael makes a good point too. A lot of the stuff could be explained off screen. You know, like there's a lot of continuity issues that get rectified or retconned by just saying it happened off screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I feel it comes down to is that with and you kind of said it, with Power Rangers and Boom's comic iteration of them, we got the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
And then they took pieces of that multiverse, and now we've acknowledged the multiverse on the TV show. So no matter what, that's why I feel like you could slip it in and say, okay, yeah, well, this is canon because this is just another reality, or this was a past event, like a prequel where there was no, because there was no legend. Like the whole story between, you know, on that happened on Eltar between Rita and Zordon, that was wild, right? And like, but it gave us backstory on why she hates him, because in the Sentai footage, she's doing all this because of her, or she lost her kid, so that's
Yeah.
why she's such an evil psychopath, you know, because she's got the mother's hate, or she's got mother's revenge driving all her choices. And they kind of gave us that, I feel, a little, because of the comics, but it gives us backstory. It canonizes the American version where, and left and filled in holes where Sentai did fill in their holes, but because we couldn't use their footage, that we didn't get that. And it was also a little more adult. It was a higher level adult wise, you know?
You know, like when I first, before they, gave that backstory on why Rita hates Zordon, like, I thought they was going to go the whole Krypton route, whereas, even though I found out later it was like 200 years in the past on the show Krypton, that, when they said, when I saw the announcement where they made, they say, oh, I forget her name, like, they made her, oh, she's going to be Zod. I was like, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to go on. Zod and Superman's grandfather are going to be lovers, and I was right. And I thought at one point that before they revealed that, I thought Zordon and Rita were kind of had a relationship at one point, but I guess I was wrong and it didn't happen at one point. I mean, I guess it didn't happen, but it would have been nice to see. It would have been motivating even more. Not motivating, but like it would have caused more conflict between Zordon and the Rangers. They could argue with Zordon was like, so we finna fight a 10,000-year fatal attraction,
And then I'm going to follow up on this last question. Sorry, I just want to answer it for Michael.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I would recommend, if you want something with a long running story arc, but you could take it in pieces, is I would start with the Shattered Grid. Start with the Shattered Grid storyline. If you just want to read and have a little bit of fun, the Ninja Turtles 4-part, and also the Justice League. I think Justice League is like 6-part. I thought that was really well done. The Batman interaction between the Power Rangers and Batman, where it was so good, it still makes me laugh, and it was done very tastefully. And they do take some liberties, okay, because it's Power Rangers, so we can. But I felt that was good. In your opinion, the Power Rangers 2017 movie. So I take it as a soft reboot. They paid homage while trying to do something different. I respected that they moved away from like the spandex piece that you would see, because that was the one thing from the 90s movie I always liked the most was the armor. And we got to see that. I do feel that we could have done a little better than a Breakfast Club teen angst iteration for their story, but I believe the Power Ranger content, right? The actual Power Ranger content was good. The last 30 minutes of the 2017 movie was very good. I feel like even the corny little running backwards, you know, with the Zord thing. But you know, I that made me giggle.
Yeah. To whoever, I can't see your comments. To whoever left that comment for you about the 2017 movie, my opinion on that movie is well, you can see that on my channel. Like, it's either you can either see it on YouTube or you can see it on my TikTok. It's split into multiple parts, and also it has like the only comic sequel, Aftershock, and that's uploaded on TikTok too and YouTube. So if you want my opinion on it, go look at those videos if you have time. But to give my small opinion on it, like I I love the movie with everything. Like when I saw the movie, I was literally at the edge of my seat. I literally I pretty much ate all my, like in the movies you really don't finish all your popcorn. I finished all my popcorn and drink. I had to go to the bathroom, didn't want to go because I was really enjoying this movie. And the movie, that iteration of Power Rangers deserved better. It really deserved better. And like I said, don't mean to be plugging my in there or advertise myself, but just look at my those videos on my TikTok and my YouTube. If you don't feel like watching multiple parts, if you just want to feel like watching the video all the way through, just go to my YouTube. But yeah, yeah, I really love the movie. The only thing, and it's already in my video. The only thing I take away from that movie is the whole Kimberly thing, the whole Kimberly part where she cut her hair and whatnot. And I did research, and it said that it was women who cut their hair, saying that it's like it shows a sign of identity crisis. And I
That
felt
was a
that
little
was
tough.
like lazy storytelling that didn't need to be told anymore. And also when she was being like the only reason why she was in detention or in trouble or going through a midlife crisis because she was an asshole to her friends that shunned her. Like, even though she took responsibility, she still was an asshole, and she did those bad things. Like I felt bad for her when I first saw it until like until like my 50th rewatch of the movie. I was like, you brought
53
that
hours. My fifth,
you you
after
brought
like
that on your
53rd watch, I was kind of like,
you
I've given
you
it some
you
reflection at this point.
you
I
you brought
loved that
that
was good.
you brought that on yourself. Like that whole arc with you brought that on yourself. But
Yeah.
it seems, but in it kind of expanded upon it. She seems like in the comic version, Aftershock, she basically became nicer, and then they became like a little nicer, and wasn't like, I guess, like the sadistic asshole she used to be before when she spread all those rumors at the school and whatnot. And one more, who was one more? Oh yeah, and the whole Jason being overprotective of Billy. I liked that. Like, if you watch it real closely, he was really overprotective of Billy. Like, he was acting like a surrogate brother to him, in a manner of speaking. But
So
overall,
I'm gonna follow up on this one last question, and then we'll start wrapping up for the day.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
a
I think
question
we should wrap it
from
up.
L Steele here, real quick. It says, now that the Netflix has announced their attempts at a Power Ranger universe, what is one thing you would like to see? I'm gonna let you take this one first. What would you like to? What's one thing you want to see out of the Hasbro universe?
One thing of I would want to see. Uh, I would want to see like more more consequences of the Rangers' choices. They'll save the world, but you know, it could have like so many direct consequences to like the next season or the next team of Rangers, or maybe another 20 years down the line. Like, oh, y'all remember y'all did this to save the world, but oh, here's this, like, or it could be somewhere to like let's say if they had to use so much morphing grid energy to destroy this evil, and it like really destabilized the morphing grid over time. And one of them says, for me, more lore. And yeah, and also more lore. That's all I want to see. I know there's like more than one, but yeah, that's mainly what I want to see. More consequences to like Rangers' actions, because like I said, certain Rangers now they don't have a mentor, like a high mentor or whatever, like it's like a guy in that big tube or whatever giving them orders and whatnot. Like some of these choices they got to make on their own, and some of those choices may not be the right choices because like with Lost Galaxy, they were like kind of like, oh, we ain't got no choice but to pull these swords or be rangers to protect your adventure, because who else is going to do it? That's mainly mine. So you go ahead.
So for me, I would like. I think we have an awesome springboard to bring together or bring content and treat it on more of a high level. A lot of the campiness that makes Power Rangers there is good, and we should just like you see it in the Marvel. There's a little bit of campy in Marvel, right? A little bit of campy in like some of the DC stuff, but it's more it's been readjusted for a broader band audience, right? That is artistically, that's what I would really like to say. I'd like to see that leap forward for us to be able to lean off a little more, less campy. Have and kind of build onto the point that was being made to give an opportunity for real action, real consequences. I mean, I know they always make the joke, right? Nobody would ever want to live in Angel Grove because the insurance premium policy would be through the roof, right?
Yeah.
Like, so real world stuff, like, and I think that would and I would always love, and I do. So I will say this: if they did a Draken cameo, or they brought Draken into the new universe as a solid whole, I wouldn't want him to be a long-standing villain. I would want him to be like someone who jumped in and broke the timeline or broke the grid or did something, and then that was because of his actions. A new bigger bad became a piece of it. I would, and we talked about this earlier in the YouTube stream that we have going on, but we see so much Tommy Oliver, and as iconic and as jaw dropping as it would be to see him, my jaw hit the floor. I watched it 20,000 times when they released it. When they released that little trailer he made for Power Rangers Legacy and the Boom Studio launch, that was so epic, right? So good. To this day, I still enjoy it, but I feel we have to grow. That's the most important part, and that's kind of, I know that's not an answer, but it's what I feel. Like I feel if this franchise is going to compete with the juggernaut of Disney, and under that house is you have Marvel, Star Wars, and then you have DC still holding out, taking swings, and now Paramount's starting to bring their game up with, they're talking about bringing back a fourth Star Trek. They've got Ninja Turtles. They've got Sonic the Hedgehog. You've got all these juggernauts out there that have real money behind them. And yes, Hasbro has a lot of cartoony things, right? They have My Little Ponies. They have G.I. Joe, Transformers, things like that. And we do have some Transformers out there now, as we talked about earlier. But this is your chance to have a hero team, right? And have that. That's where I feel Saban dropped the ball in 2017, is they could have made it if they would have just been a little better on the process and the development and the launching. So I'm just talking about the support for like supporting the actual like awareness of it and gathering the Ranger base, kind of like how Hasbro's doing now, right? They're staying true to where they came from, but they're letting everyone know slowly, hey, things are about to change. And where they take us from there, that's what I'm excited to see. I know that was a huge answer.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you are a true Power Ranger fan, and you like older fans like myself. Like I mean, even though like they try to appeal to another audience, like we felt like we deserved more mature stories, and we deserve better to what the franchise going forward. Because like even though we were children back in the day, like watching Lost Galaxy and Space, you know, I felt like they didn't treat us like idiots. If if that makes sense, we weren't treated like idiots. Like as far as like the storytelling and the dread, because like I said, the sense of dread I felt with every finale, like from Lost Galaxy all the way up to Wild Force. Wild Force's finale was on par with kind of like with Countdown to Destruction. It's up there. It's like it's top tier. It's top tier finales. And versus Disney, Disney had some good finales like Ninja Storm. I like Ninja Storm. Towards the end, I felt like that whole fight with Lothor could have lasted a little bit longer because he was straight kicking their ass. And Dino Thunder's finale was decent. SPD was a monster finale because there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I was like, dang, all that was just part one. Like all this stuff, like they fought a squad. They kicked Brutewing's ass out of the SPD headquarters. Like all that stuff was going on. They lost 8 Zords and everything, and all that was part one. And then everything came to a close in part 2, where it's like, oh, Grum wasn't the big bad. It was Great Omni, whatever he called himself. I felt that was the only downplay of the finale was Omni, the final, whatever his name was, and Doggy Kruger, he did Grum by himself. That was pretty good. And then Mystic Force, we already talked about that. Yeah. Operation Overdrive, like that finale was good too. Mac gave his life to save the world, kicked Floria's ass with even when Florius had the crown, Mac still gave his all and still won. That was pretty good. Jungle Fury, okay. RPM from start to finish was dreadful. Uncertainty. It was depressing, especially with the Rangers' backstories.
You're just coming on, Fury, while we're about to get ready to wrap up, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, he was like, hey.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was like I said, I won't want that dread, that sense of dread in every finale. Like when they say, oh, season finale of Power Rangers and such coming up, and then you see part 1. I was like, oh my god, like, are they gonna be okay? Are they gonna win? Like, even though you probably know that they will win, but like, what long-lasting consequences are going to happen? Like, if a Ranger going to die, or are the Rangers going to? The most that happen in a finale is a Ranger loses their powers. That was mainly it. But if we can get some consequences, like if 2 Rangers die at the end of the season, or if a Ranger has some stuff like happen to them so bad to where they quit, I will tip my hat off to Hasbro if they would do something like that. Like, basically more drama instead of like, life lessons, oh, you can't do that, or you can't cheat on the test, this, that, and the third. We all know that. We all know that we can't cheat on the test. We all know that we can't steal it like that. Do something to where it's like Ranger stuff. Like, oh, if you just like I don't know if you've seen the final episode of Kaku Ranger. You seen that final episode of Kaku Ranger?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, spoiler alert.
Okay, that's all right.
The main villain, I forgot his name. It was the they had to the Master Bopper to defeat him, but they couldn't strike him with their weapons because he was the embodiment of hatred, hatred. So if they would have killed him or striked him, he released all the hatred into the world. so they had to defeat him by other means because they really wanted to, but they really couldn't. But then they managed to find a way to get rid of him. But he's still around, but they sealed him away for the time being. I don't know if they will do a reunion movie or whatever, because they've been doing a lot of reunion Sentai movies, like
it's really big. Yeah, it's really picking up
and whatnot. But that's pretty much all I want to talk about today. We talked about a lot. And we've been since like what 2:30, and it's now
2:30. Yeah,
it's 5:00.
Yeah, 5:00 somewhere.
I gotta see if my children done tore up my house because my wife hadn't called me.
I know.
So I'm about to go see what she up to. I thank you for showing up, man. Thank you for like keeping the thing engaging, because like this is my first live ever.
Yeah, man.
For this long, and I was kind of nervous. So be sure, like, let me close out. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys next time.
May the power protect you guys.
May the power protect y'all. See ya.